Namaste. Hello everyone. Welcome to Shal Gulhati, Shiva and Mysticism for another episode of Monday with Mahadev. Recently, I saw a very enigmatic picture of Shiva on the net, which I want to share with you and give you some of my thoughts about it. This picture I found on the net just yesterday, in which Shiva is looking at a skull very intently, looking into its eyes as if he is contemplating. And we come across some such pictorial representations of Shiva many times when he's holding a skull or in the company of skulls, maybe in the cremation ground or some very dreary place where life has come to an end. And it seems that Shiva is therefore the destroyer. But to me, this means something else, and I would like to share that viewpoint with you. When we look death in the face, we come most alive. Yes, this sounds like a paradox, but think about it carefully. It is in times when we have a very close brush with death or see it all around us that we actually start thinking about the value of life. And we actually start knowing how much we want to live and how much we want everyone to live. Because a day-to-day life, which we all go through, has so many things which we just take for granted, like fresh air, open spaces, talking to other people, taking walks in nature. All these things come naturally to us, and it is only when we realize that they are not here anymore for some reason or the other that we understand that the best things in life are for free. When we go into the parks, watch little squirrels or birds in the sky or trees as they sway in the air, almost like a dance, we sometimes do not register that these joys are for free. And our soul is much more in sync with these joys than it is with the ones which we have now got accustomed to, like big cars and mansions, trophies, recognitions, acknowledgements, competitions, positions of power, wealth, empires, luxuries. These are all acquired things. Sometimes they devolve on us through a lot of hard work, but at other times we just may inherit them and not know their value. On another extreme, we may contrive to get these things, and therefore they are not natural. But we have started being so accustomed to do these things that we think these are the measure of our joy. So when I see a painting or a picture of Shiva looking at a skull and coming face to face with death, I don't think of him as a destroyer, but as a great contemplator, one who is in Chintan, as a great meditator, one who is in dhyana, one who sees the facet of death and then goes into it like a scientist, like a philosopher, and starts recalling the merits and joys of life. He starts contemplating, and after that, I prefer to call him Shiva, the rectifier. He sees what is happening in the world, he contemplates on it, he thinks on it, and then he tries to correct himself, to correct the script of what should be, and give himself another direction. And therefore, he is more of a rectifier. All of us go through a very tough time at some point in our life. But all of us going through a very tough time like the one we are seeing now, this is rare. It is a rare era in which all of mankind is having a very difficult time watching a pandemic on which we have very little or no control, except for maintaining our discipline, our protocols, social distancing, sanitizing our hands, getting vaccinated, so on and so forth. And at times we almost despair. Is this a message from nature? Is mankind never going to come out of this? And that is what this picture of Shiva contemplating shows me. There is a very famous saying which is, "This too shall pass." Whatever time, whatever event that we see, everything is transient, and like the motion of water, it must pass. Therefore, this time too shall pass. We will come out of this, but we may have seen a lot of suffering, may have seen many things which make us contemplate. And therefore, when we come out of this with Mahadev's grace, we should give humanity a new face. If we have finally learned that the things which are for free, the simplest joys, like the walks in nature, the watching of other creatures in harmony, the talking to somebody without any ulterior motive, without any hidden agendas, simple laughter, simple affection, simple caring, sharing, compassion, kindness. If we have realized that these things are what actually matter, if we have valued our life in terms of all the things that our rishis and munis and seers have always been telling us, the Buddhas have always been telling us, that these simple things which are filled with kindness and compassion, innocence and simple joys is what life is really meant for. So Shiva, looking intently into the face of death, is not causing death. He is trying to be more alive. He is trying to understand that life and death are both two sides of the same coin. One thing gives way to another, but in the period of life, we must learn to enjoy ourselves moment by moment without trespassing on anyone else. Just like those little creatures we see in the nature walk, the squirrels and the birds, even the ants, the butterflies, we all know it. All of them live in a perfect harmony. And so can we. No one is really telling us to exit this system. Nature is just telling us to reboot ourselves, to rethink our priorities. And when man decides to be a harmonious being, he will contribute most to this nature. We are intelligent. We can invent things. We can discover things which other species are not capable of. And we can use them for more harmony. The way we make our houses, we can make them stand out like a sore thumb in the lap of nature, or we can blend them in a perfect harmony. The way we do our transport, we can be invasive to all other beings, or we can harmonize our movement. So on and so forth. I think everyone across the whole world knows this feeling right now, when the second wave of this pandemic has hit us, when many of us are in lockdown, many have lost a loved one, many have seen the transience and frailty of life and realized we want to live. We value life. And like I said, this time too shall pass with Mahadev's grace, and we must, as humanity, give ourselves a new face. I hope that you empathize with this slightly sober note. Join me again here next Monday, and I will share with you about Shiva, the master of Tantra. How Tantra is an art, a science, which harmonizes all things and all beings. Om Namah Shivaya.